What a mess. And I know you've been getting these if you've been playing the Crucible. You might have heard some bad things about it. You might even have played with it and just dismantled it. I've waited to do this review until I had concrete things to show you, and I have them. I finally have them. Feels like I've had over 300 drops, and I'm ready to do the review. So first things first, you have to get incredibly lucky with it. It's one of those weapons that if you don't, it's gonna be bad, 1000%. And I'm gonna say it multiple times, just so I'm clear. If it's a 4 out of 5 or less, you're gonna hate it. It's not gonna perform. You should dismantle it. It has to land everywhere. It has to hit every perk. If every perk didn't land, it's definitely not going to match up to what you've been using. The same can't be said for Isoluna, Palindrome, Cantata, a couple other 140s. Those straight up stand on their own 2 feet with their stats. Crisis Inverted needs some help. And to be completely honest with you, at first I hated this thing. I about gave up, but I came to the conclusion that I only hated it because the rolls were not there. I had to keep looking, keep trying things out, and I have them now and I really enjoy it. So stay with me, this is a wild ride because the base weapon has something you can include with your roll. You can then min-max and it makes certain things that weren't really viable before, viable now. Definitely not on other weapons, but for this, it completes it. I have some great examples to show you. Crisis Inverted marks the 12th addition to the 140 family that isn't Sunset. Now, the truth is, it does have some things the others don't. So to me, those are the things that we need to pay attention to. It's got a mega perk pool, 12 perks in each node, lots of variables, lots of combinations, and you have to remember, these playlist weapons, Crisis Inverted, we saw it in the past with Stars and Shadow. These weapons are meant for newer players. As they play, they're going to get multiple types of perks to try. That's what it's for. So for the veterans, you're already looking for something fine-tuned with these. And fine-tuned is exactly what needs to roll. It's a rare omolon hand cannon. And out of the gate, some of you might hate that. I get it. There's been so few omolon hand cannons in D1 and D2 that they do feel completely different than any other hand cannon in the game. They have their own feel to them. It does have a special trait, the omolon fluid dynamics. And this plays a big part in the perk combinations. It means that you can use some mags and barrels over others. This weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. It's the opposite of under pressure, if that makes sense. It gives plus 20 stability, plus 30 handling, and it scales all the way to the final bullet in the top half. So in theory, it starts out at max benefit, then decays. The shots are going to be on the screen, so you have a 10 round mag. That means the top half is the first 5 bullets. So in theory, it starts off at that plus 20 stability, plus 30 reload, and the final bullet will be plus 4 stability, plus 6 reload. But you're always getting help. And if you were to add more to the magazine, like a pinned mag or backup mag, get to 12 bullets, let's say, it would be your first 6 shots. So it does scale when you add magazine to it, but this trait allows you to cheat some perks. It's all roll dependent, and here's what I mean. Here's a great example. It's one of my favorite rolls so far, and there's gonna be some other ones I'm gonna show you that are really good too, and what I believe is actually the top roll I got. But with this trait, you can come up with things like this. This is small bore, flared magwell, stability masterwork, heating up kill clip. Sounds kind of basic. You wouldn't really run this on something else, but when you break it down, we have 52 range, 75 stability, 78 reload. Flared magwell is a great magazine for this thing because it gives plus 14 reload, plus 5 stability. So 78 reload after all this. The trait gives plus 30 reload. So when you look at it, like this is a regular reload without fluid dynamics on this hand cannon that has 78 reload. And this is 4 bullets in, it's faster. It's close to 100 reload, or it's gonna be 100 if you get like a 3-tap. When you pair with something like kill clip, you don't need outlaw. You don't need anything like that. Maybe rapid hit, I'll get to that a little bit later. But when you're pairing with a damage perk, you're in business. And remember, a reloader on your arms, it costs 4 energy. It's a scaler. It's lightning fast. It's perfect for damage perks, but even without damage perks, it's just perfect. If you get a little reload from the masterwork, the magazine, whatever it is, it's pretty much gonna be 100 reload. And the other part is the stability added. So this one has 75. The first shot is at 95 stability, then it's gonna get in the 80s as I go further down in the magazine. But what's really cool, it starts off at 95 stability. When I get a kill, heating up kicks in, it adds plus 15 stability, so I'm getting back up near 100 again, and I also get crazy accuracy benefits. Or, let's say I get a kill and reload. It almost has like an outlaw scaler on it. It's 100 reload with my gauntlets, so I have heating up ×1 and kill clip. It's at 100 stability, it has accuracy benefits, and I get more damage. If I get a kill, it's heating up ×2. It's a headshot magnet with 100 stability, it's awesome. It has this fast reload to save time with heating up, and goes straight into a damage perk. But it's all about breaking everything down, min-maxing some things, and just know where you're landing. Because this roll right here is fluid, it's smooth. The little stat bumps from small bore, flared magwell, It hits the reload threshold with what you need with the trait, and otherwise you wouldn't really use something like this, right? It's just how things can shake out with Crisis Inverted. So when this hand cannon drops, I highly encourage you, when it comes to your barrels and magazine and your masterwork, take that into consideration. It's starting off with plus 20 stability, plus 30 reload. Look at those stats, the numerical stats on the hand cannon. If you get high stability in the 70s, 80s, it's gonna be near max. If you get that reload to 70, 75, it's gonna be max or near max with the reloader. It's gonna be fast. And for the mag, you have high cals, ricochet, armor piercing. Great options. It's RNG. You're gonna slot in the best available, but pay attention to those stats when you do. A lot of them can be good because of that trait. And if all else fails, even a pure mag option like a pin and mag works because you're spreading out the omolon fluid dynamic trait. But it gets tricky once you get to the monster perk pool. Like I said, I've had a ton of these drop, and if I had 300, like 295 just sucked. Seriously, and they've probably been bad for you. You just have to land. You have to hit the min-max stats, and it has to be perfect. Fortunately, it does have PvE and PvP capabilities. It has all areas of the game covered. I'm not going to go over every perk, but I do want to talk about some things that stand out on this particular hand cannon. That's why you would use it. And again, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I cover the game, strengths and weaknesses, and for a lot of you, this hand cannon just simply won't click. Could be that it's omolon, you're not really used to them, but most of the time it is going to be a bad hand cannon unless you hit on it. It's going to be really bad. But if the stars align, it's awesome, and I truly believe that. As an example of it all coming together, one that actually feels great and performs great, a role I was chasing and I got. Full bore ricochet rounds, range masterwork, under pressure, rangefinder. The most range you can get, 34.8 meters, let's call it 35. A lot of hand cannons hit this, and there are some that can go over, right? Like Palindrome gets up to almost 38. Cantata gets up there. But for those, you have to land on them, right? This one needs everything to get to 35. And with this roll with under pressure, you have the top half and you have the bottom half. And I'm unsure if traits like heating up, under pressure, the omolon trait are going to count towards flinch resistance next season, but this thing is really good. It's really fun to use. And the cool part is that even with this, the reload is starting at 94. It has a scaler because I have on reloader gauntlets. Full bore doesn't shy me away because I have the omolon trait and I have under pressure. Under pressure is going to kick in when omolon dynamic is over. It's a wave. It starts off stable, 75 stability, gets down to the 55 base, then it gets more stable up to 85 stability. And this particular role also has fluted, not a bad pick at all. It gets up to 73 handling to really round out the stats. Could also put on flared magwell. Stability's getting a lot of help in the reload because of the trait. Going to be 100. This right here is this hand cannon hitting everywhere. It feels completely different than the dozens of rolls I've tried. Seriously, it's like a different hand cannon. And I knew the very first shot I took on Vostok, I was up above the flag and I was hitting 70s. No other roll did that. Now, under pressure could be subbed for a lot of things. Heating up, tunnel vision, and tunnel vision really works because you have a fast reload built in. There's rapid hit. It's helping stability a third way. And then you keep the reload up. Moving target gets it to 93 aim assist. Demolitionist works. This is the type of thing that you need. Not halfway, it needs to be max. Full bore ricochet range masterwork. All the way, because if not, it's not going to feel good. And one thing about Crisis Inverted, yes, the stability is nice, and on something like this, it counters full bore, but it's pretty much always going to be just as stable or more stable than the top options, and it will always have a faster reload. That's what's setting it apart. Or then there's something like this. We have flinch reduction coming next season, and this role has options. It has 100 stability on Void, but it also has 100 handling on Arc, 100 reload on Solar. I could go extended barrel to get the range up, and then I have heating up on this end, and the fluid dynamics is going to take care of the rest. And if the flinch resistance update is substantial, a literal 100 stability hand cannon is going to be worth a shot. This thing right here, let me tell you, it is a laser. Since it has 100 stability, as far as dynamics, you're getting help from the reload part of the trait, which is still awesome. I have heating up at a ×2 30% accuracy cone growth with 100 stability. It's really nice. The theme though, again, you have to hit, period. There's no in between. All the way back to that heating up kill clip roll. It works with wonky mags and barrels because of the trait. If you can squeeze out 100 or near 100 stats in some of those stat areas, that's where you need to be. Not like to be, you need to be. For PvE, look, I've seen top players using Crisis and GMs mostly due to adaptive munitions. Great PvE perk. It's a great solo Lost Sector perk. Hitting non-arc shields, ramps up the damage to 500% more, and a bonus if you have armor-piercing rounds that adds an additional 5%. On the other side, there's a lot of PvE perks to go with, like this one is perfect. It has Demolitionist, Adaptive Munitions, armor-piercing rounds. There are things like Shoot to Loot to go with it, even stats for all Adaptive Munitions. And you know what? If you're playing PvP and a Crisis drops with Adaptive Munitions, I would keep it. Hand cannons are always in the artifact. It's ARC. It works with Unstoppable currently. And there's so many perks on this thing. You're going to get kind of halfway sometimes. Maybe Steady Hands, Adrenaline Junkie. Maybe Shoot to Loot, Vorpal. Or you get some bad mag options like Alloy. That's the trouble with this thing. But there are opportunities to land like Demolitionist, Adrenaline Junkie. It's always put in work, even in PvP. There's also stats for all, one for all. So in conclusion here, if it's not perfect, it's bad, pretty much. And the main thing to take away, as you play the Crucible, they're gonna drop. I wouldn't use any rolls unless it's a 5 out of 5. The things to look for on that stat bar are stability stats 70 or higher, reload stats 70 or higher, and that's the lower threshold. You want to be higher than that. 75, 80, 85. And after that, the perks have to hit, because you're using that Omolon Fluid Dynamics trait to help that out. Because if you get up to that 75, 80 reload, it's pretty much 100 reload. That really helps with kill perks, Focus Fury, Kill Clip, Adrenaline Junkie. I would stay away from Compulsive Reloader, Ensemble, even Outlaw. I don't think Outlaw's needed at all. I would stay away from Opening Shot, Turnabout, and a couple others. If you try to make it something that it's not going to do well. It's not going to be better than what you've been used to. Focus on min-maxing the stats, or heavy leaning into one of them, like max range. That includes the big three, Full Bore, Ricochet, Range Masterwork, or the 90 plus stability roll. Lean heavy, because only then it's going to perform. So wait on that. If you get a drop, use it, see what it's all about. You might just like it. I was completely turned until I got these 3 rolls. I tried some of the perks, but didn't have good barrels and mag. I had good barrels and mag, but didn't have good perks. I only had one perk, like Rangefinder, but it had stats for all. I had another Rangefinder with moving target, which was okay, but I didn't land on the barrel and mag. It didn't perform. But after I got these, it switched my opinion. And you know what? If not, there are plenty of 140s to choose from. This one is a mess though. If you conquer RNG, it has some things to offer that the others can't do. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Crisis Inverted down below. I've seen players lean heavy to one side. They either hate it or they love it. What do you think? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.